Ladies and gentlemen, you have reached Politomato. My name is Mike, and here are the topics for this edition. President Trump officially confirms the origin of the Wuhan election infection. Jon Stewart, yes, liberal simp Jon Stewart actually drops truth bombs about the Kung Fu Holocaust. Caroline Leavitt once again eviscerates the media industrial complex to their faces. That's what's on the docket for this edition, so let's let it rip. President Trump torches the Communist Party of China with a flamethrower to publicly confirm something that we all knew all along. Our so-called conspiracy theory that COVID was started in a lab in Wuhan, China was proven to not be a theory at all. It has now been confirmed to be 100% fact that the first virus outbreak occurred at Wuhan Institute of Virology in, get this, November 2019. Yes, for over 5 years, we have been called unhinged, delusional lunatics for believing that it only makes sense that the virus was created at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Why did we believe this? Because since 2003, it has been public knowledge that the CCP has been conducting experiments on animals, including mice, bats, and pangolins. Yep, you heard it right, 2003. Instead of being told the truth, we were propagandized and told that COVID was started when a pangolin and a bat fornicated in a wet seafood market only 7.5 miles away from, once again, a lab that they have been conducting experiments on animals including mice, bats, and pangolins since 2003. And you know what's even more mind-numbing? We, as taxpayers, funded the entire plandemic. I probably already have your blood boiling, so I'm just going to shut up now. But check out this quick clip. It explains a lot.
The lab leak theory of COVID-19's origins gained tremendous legitimacy this week as the Wall Street Journal confirmed independent reports from friends of the show, Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger, that the earliest outbreak occurred at the Wuhan Institute of Virology in November 2019. Patient zero are now presumed to be 3 Chinese scientists, at least one of whom, Ben Hu, worked extensively on gain-of-function research, the manipulation of viruses to make them more dangerous, which was funded by grants from the U.S. federal government. Those cases occurred in November 2019, well before the Hunan wet market outbreak favored by some in the scientific community as the more likely origin story, and they occurred among the very people one would most suspect in the event of a lab accident. This is quite damning, to say the least. Anyone still clinging to an animal origin theory, remember the pangolins and the raccoon dogs? They're cute, is running up against Occam's razor. Assuming the intelligence reports are accurate and that Hu and his colleagues did contract the earliest cases of COVID-19, the implications are fairly earth-shattering, let's be frank. This would mean that substandard safety protocols at the Wuhan lab probably unleashed a killer pathogen on the rest of the planet, and the Chinese government attempted to cover it up.
Hey guys, I just need to interrupt for a brief moment to get something off my chest. You know what? Hang on a second. Mikey, wake up. I need some serious, maybe melodramatic music for what I'm about to say. If you guys don't know who Mikey is, he's my producer. Maybe not for too much longer. He drives me nuts. He's so lazy. Mikey, come on, Mikey, hurry up. People are waiting. Mikey, I said serious melodramatic, not space synth. You want people to think we're a bunch of screw-ups? And don't forget to edit this part out. We want people to think we know what we're doing. Okay, that's good enough music right there. Just please don't touch anything else. Now get back in your cage. If you don't screw anything else up, I'll throw you some hamburger meat later. And don't forget to edit this out too. Okay, I'm back. I just needed to tell you all how much I appreciate your support. Matter of fact, I really appreciate something that one of you said in the comments below the last video. One of you anonymous cowards said that my voice sounds like a trans dude that has a tennis ball stuck in her throat. That was really hurtful, man. And I think I know who it was, but I'm not going to mention any names. Ryan. But enough on that. I forgive you. Mikey, I can't take this music anymore. Bring our funky beat back, please. Good job, Mikey. You got it first try. But for real, I would really love to hear what y'all think. So please surprise me and drop a comment. Whether it be uplifting or hurtful, it's all love. Matter of fact, I'm going to be awarding 1 hat per day to whoever makes the best comment of the day. I'll make sure you all get a hat eventually. Okay, Mikey, back to the content, please.
China, however, is hardly the only government on the hook. The lab leak also means that research paid for by U.S. tax dollars and vouched for by coronavirus czar Anthony Fauci, the nation's foremost advocate of gain of function, is partly to blame for a pandemic that killed millions of people worldwide. Fauci, the very person tasked with leading the U.S. response to COVID-19, was in charge of the government agency that gave WHO the gain-of-function research initially sickened the researcher who got sick with COVID first millions of dollars to experiment with bat coronaviruses. Information on the central role played by Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases was made public by the White Coat Waste Project, a watchdog group that uses public records requests to scrutinize federal funding of science. The journal cited the organization's work, writing that it confirmed WHO's receipt of U.S. funds. We interviewed a member of that group on the show yesterday, so please go watch that. Now, concerns about the potential for catastrophic harm, the Obama administration had actually paused federal funding of gain-of-function research in 2014. Now, in late 2022, Fauci sat for a 7-hour deposition admitting that exceptions had been made for gain-of-function research deemed vital to government scientists. And in any case, the pause ended in 2017. Meanwhile, numerous authorities, including the U.S. Embassy in Beijing, have raised concerns about negligence at the Wuhan lab over the years.
If you're not pissed after watching that, you better check yourself. Maybe you've become a liberal. But anyways, let's lighten things up a bit with our next clip. Now, I don't usually agree with liberals, nor do I usually like to hear a single word that comes out of their mouths. But I do think that Jon Stewart does a great job here of explaining things. Take a look.
How do you feel about the science now, though?
Well, so I will say this. And I honestly mean this. I think we owe a great debt of gratitude to science. Science has, in many ways, helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
If I could just have a moment to say, if you are enjoying the content, please subscribe, please like the videos, please share the videos. If you can do all three, that's incredible. If you can only do one, that's great too. I want to keep bringing this news, and that's only possible if I have your support. So whatever you can do would be much appreciated. Okay, back to the content.
So what do you mean by that? Do you mean like there's a chance that this was created in a lab, there's an investigation?
A chance?
Well, if there is evidence, I'd love to hear it.
There's a novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan Novel Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. The disease is the same name as the lab. That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask the scientists, they're like, how did this... So wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle. And you're like, no, the name of your lab. If you look at the name, let me see your business card. Show me your business card. Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan. Oh, because there's a coronavirus loose in Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe a bat flew into the cloaca of a turkey and then it sneezed into my chili and now we all have coronavirus. Like, come on.
Okay, wait a second.
What about this? Listen to this.
Wait a second.
All right.
John.
Oh my God. There's been an outbreak of chocolatey goodness near Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do you think happened? Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe a steam shovel mated with a cocoa bean. Or it's the chocolate factory. Maybe that's it.
That could be.
You know, it's really painful to watch two liberals interacting with each other, but in efforts to get to the truth, I guess it's worth it. But for real, I would put money on it that any male fetus produces more testosterone than these two simps. Joe, that one was for you. Moving on to a different topic. You know, we'll never get back that time we lost during the scandemic. They isolated us from friends and loved ones. So every chance we get, we need to remind them. And that's exactly what Miss Caroline does to the media propaganda arm of the deep state in this short clip.
I also would just like to point out that several years ago, when I was working in this press shop and President Trump would take to this podium to brief the American people on COVID-19, he suggested that COVID very well may have came from a lab in Wuhan, China. And many members in this very room mocked him for that, said he was spewing conspiracy theories. He was not. We now know that to be the confirmable truth. It took many years for it to come out, but the president was right in this instance again.
But everyone, that's going to be a wrap for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. And while you're down there, maybe even leave a comment. I would love to hear what you guys think. I thank you all very much for your time. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And wherever you are, keep smiling.